What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Bang. Oh, welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleazebomb. Today, we are diving into the running back rankings, and I'm going to do something a little different I thought about here for my rankings. So, in this rankings video, you are going to get more of my opinions and my breakdowns of the games instead of all the stats and what the defense has done, because I drop all of those stats and defenses that what happens, rushing yards, stats, rushing TDs, everything like that on the Stardom Sit-In videos. So if you guys want all those stats, they are on the Stardom Sit-In videos. This time I'm going to break down like how high I think the touchdown percentage is going to be, how the matchup is going to go, and it's just going to be my personal thoughts on it because all the stats were already dropped on those videos. Now, before we dive into it, guys, here, make sure you hit that thumbs up, smash that subscription, all the support. It's appreciated. I can't thank you guys enough. If you guys have not checked out the Discord, the Guys FF that I run with my partner, Big Draft Energy, we cover everything fantasy football. We set your lineups. We trade recommendations, dynasty trade values, everything you guys need. Everything is covered fantasy football in there. And as always, guys, if you want to join drafters.com, make sure you use promo code SLEAZE. It will double your deposit up to $100 no matter how much you put in. Best ball drafts, pick'ems, daily DFS drafts. I'll be live on Friday doing some drafts. I will also be live tomorrow before kickoff, hour before, doing our first Q&A show for the week. So I hope to see you guys in there. And let's dive into my week 2 running back rankings for fantasy football. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my running back board here. Baller tier at the top, must start top 6 running backs. Going to be pretty obvious. Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. In my camera picture right here, you'll see Joe Mixon, Tyjae Spears there on IR. They are out. 4 running backs up here at the top that I had ranked in the top 36 that I will not this time. Ollie Gordon I had as a sleeper play. He obviously did not hit with the game script. Caleb Johnson wasn't even used out there. It was Kenneth Gainwell. Braylon Allen, he did find the end zone, but I'm not putting him in my top 36 this week. And Nick Chubb, man, very, very tough matchup they're facing this week on Monday Night Football. And then Judkins, we don't have the news on Quinshon Judkins yet, so he's meeting with the NFL today. It's looking like, I guess, according to the updates, a 1 to 2 game suspension that may be placed on him. But again, that's speculation, and we do not know. So, and again, in this video, remember, guys, the stats and all of that stuff that is dropped in my Stardom Sit-In running back video. So if you want all the stats and how everything went last week, that is all there. This is going to be more opinionated on my side of how I think it's going to go this week in fantasy football. So I'm not going to be dropping tons of stats here. I like this as a switch up instead of doing the stats twice in both my videos. So running back 1 on the week, none other than the 49ers right behind me. Bang, bang, Niner gang, Christian McCaffrey, and we just got the update that Brock Purdy is going to be a long shot to play. So now you're going to have Mac Jones in. You're at the Superdome against the Saints, whose offense, they don't move the ball very well. The 49er defense is going to be a great play this week. And CMC saw 30 touches last week. He's going to see it again here. He's going to find the end zone. He is my RB1 on the week, and he was the biggest risk-reward play you could make on the season, and right now that is paying off. We're only 1 week in, but we'll see how it goes here the rest of the season, but I love CMC this week. Number 2, the rumbling, bumbling 31-year-old, all rush for 3+ 30-yard carries at age 31. I will destroy the Buffalo Bills. I will destroy everyone in my way. It is Derrick the King Henry. Father Time has not knocked on the door yet for this guy. This offense is so powerful. Trying to stop him and Lamar Jackson is a nightmare. You are going up against the Cleveland Browns in this matchup, so you can look at it like, yeah, the Browns defense was good last week, right? Versus the run versus, Chase Brown and the Bengals. This is a different beast. It is way harder to game plan for Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry, from here on out, is going to be probably a baller tier running back. This man is just a freak of nature, man. I can't even describe it. Usually at 28, the running backs fall completely off. It's not happening with him. It does not matter. This is King Henry. He's going to do it again. Running back number 3, Bijan Robinson. Now, when I'm looking at Bijan Robinson here, you did see the 1A kind of 1B split snap share wise with Tyler Algier. But how I look at it is he doesn't need a lot of snaps to dominate. You saw that already. At 100 yards through the air, he's absolutely electric, one of the best running backs on the field. If the Falcons lose this game, right, let's say the Falcons fall to 0-2 here on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings, you're going to see the Bijan unleashed snap share go to 70, 75% because they're not going to just throw this season away with everything they invested in draft capital, the rookies in the first round. They want to win this division now, and if they fall 0-2, you might as well fire Bijan up as RB1 for the rest of the season here because that's how I look at it. Running back number 4. One of my favorite plays on the week here. Kyren Williams has a very, very advantageous matchup versus the Tennessee Titans defense here. Now, if you look back at week 1 when you're looking at this game, the Broncos did run for 150 yards on them between J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. They split 70-70, or 70-70, or 70-63, whatever it was, or 70-65. I don't have the numbers up, but somewhere around there. So now you're looking at Kyren, who doesn't really split timeshare that much with Blake Corum. He's the red zone vulture all the time. He never comes out in the red zone. I think Kyren is going to absolutely destroy Tennessee this week. I'm probably the highest ranker of him, and I think he's going to be a top 5 running back easy this week and put the Rams at 2-0. Number 5, weird showing for Jahmyr Gibbs in week 1, but I try to tell you guys, man, I told you the Lions were going to have a regression this year. I told you that the Lions are going to look different without Ben Johnson. I told you that Jared Goff plays bad on the road, and that's why I was lower on Amon-Ra St. Brown as well, who only had like 45 yards, if I remember correctly. So, and Jahmyr Gibbs, guys, had 10 receptions. So when they tell you in the offseason that he's going to be involved in the pass game, they were not kidding. Now, he didn't do much with it. He couldn't get out and break loose, but it's no time to panic on a superstar running back like Jahmyr Gibbs. You're facing the Chicago Bears this week. You know, revenge game for Ben Johnson. Everyone's going to be fired up for this game. You're firing up Jahmyr Gibbs. And I forgot, whenever there's a double running back, I do them both here. So I have David Montgomery down at running back 24 in this game as well. And I do like him to fall in the end zone for a touchdown here at the goal line in this game as well. Number 6, I'm going to bump him up here, Chase Brown. So the Cincinnati Bengals had a very tough outing week 1, right? You played the Cleveland Browns defense. They were all over Joe Burrow. I mean, dude, Myles Garrett had almost 3 sacks in one drive. They gave him 2.5. The man is an absolute monster. Now you get a way, way easier matchup versus the Jaguars D-line that's not going to get after him. They couldn't stop Chuba Hubbard through the pass or the ground last week. Chase Brown. Guys, there was not another running back with a carry in the Cincinnati Bengals backfield. The volume this guy is getting is insane. He's going to be a smash start every single week. Number 7, Josh Jacobs and the Green Bay Packers in this nasty defense. Thursday Night Football. We're 1 day away here. He fell into the end zone last week. Didn't have the Josh Jacobs great game. You know, even when they had the lead in the kind of game script over the Lions, you thought he'd have a little more, but that is a good defense he was going up against. You get the Commanders this week, and if you look at the Commanders stats, they look like the number 1 run D because they played the New York Giants and Russell Wilson, who stinks, man. So Tyrone Tracy and Scatterbo, they were both sits for me last week by a mile, even versus the Commanders, because their offensive line is trash. So you can't throw out the Commanders stats when you're going up against the Green Bay Packers. Josh Jacobs is still going to feast in this game. He's my RB7. RB number 8, and I know it's crazy to put Saquon Barkley at 8, but you just saw the game script last week from the Los Angeles Chargers, how to beat the Chiefs. Their run D last year was number 2, giving up like 50 yards a game behind the Ravens, who gave up like 45, and that's off the top of my head. Again, I don't have the stats up. So when you look at the Chargers game, and Harbaugh loves to run the ball and control the clock, what did they do? They opened up the passing game. Yes, could Saquon find the end zone? Yes, but I don't think this is going to be a massive explosion Saquon game because the Chiefs' run defense is very, very good. Number 9 is going to be one of my smash starts on my video, James Conner. And why? Because the Carolina Panthers run D just gets shredded. Last year, they gave up 4,000 plus yards, which was one of the all-time worst in NFL history. They did not do much to help that defense at all. They attacked the offense, and that did not help them at all. Obviously, through week 1, it didn't look great. Now you get possibly a Trey Benson will show up here and there because he popped a 50-yarder last week, and people think, oh, my God, Trey Benson's coming in. James Conner's going to get 20-plus points in this game. This is how you beat the Panthers. Just beat them down with the run. They can't stop anything here. Number 10 is going to be James Cook. You got to watch the injury update. He popped up with a little hamstring injury. It's limited. He's going to be out there. He's going to be fine. You're facing the New York Jets. The run D last week was nice versus the Steelers, we'll say, mishap run game, if that's what you want to call it, with Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell out-snapped Jaylen Warren last week, and freaking Caleb Johnson got 1 carry. It was absolutely terrible to watch. But Jaylen Warren did find the end zone in the game. It was a little like, I don't know what to call it, toss screen pass for like 11 yards for him to hit the end zone, or 10 yards. So, James Cook's different beast. Josh Allen, different animal. You're going to be at MetLife. Yeah, their run D looked good, but, you played the Steelers run game, so it's kind of a different scheme there, and James Cook's going to smash. Number 11, I've already given my formal apologies. Yes, after 1 week, I was out on Breece Hall. I like to be transparent. I had him at RB20, completely missed that last week. He looked absolutely great. I thought the Steelers' run D would be phenomenal. I thought that they would be able to lock him up. They have the 3 best corners on paper statistically, and Garrett Wilson ate like a machine. Justin Fields destroyed them. And Breece Hall cracked 100 yards rushing against a good run D. And he even did work through the air. So, I mean, he didn't get the goal line works, which is kind of scary because Braylon Allen got the touches there. And, Justin Fields is always going to vulture a couple with his rushing upside. But you get the Buffalo Bills, and Derrick Henry just crushed this team. So, Breece Hall looks like an absolute smash play to me this week versus Buffalo. Number 12, I'm getting worried. This is my guy, Devon the Hurricane A-Chain. The Dolphins look like they're in blow-up mode. It looks like it's already falling apart. The wheels are coming off. They got destroyed at Lucas Oil Stadium. I mean, they got the brakes beat off them 30-0 till A-Chain bullied one into the end zone at the end on a reception, down 30 points, and he was still gutting it out, rushing like a machine. I'd like to see that. But when this offense is not going to be clicking at all right now, I think Mike McDaniels is going to get fired here soon. I think he's the first NFL coach to get fired. And this is like my favorite player. I found this guy like 2 years ago. This is like claim to fame was A-Chain coming in. He's still going to get it done in the pass game. It is going to be a tough matchup for him. He's still a start, for sure. But I'm getting worried about Miami, man. Number 13, Ashton Genty. I ranked him lower last week, and everyone gave me all this mayhem. Look what happened, man. He did not have a good game. When West Coast teams travel east, they usually struggle. His yards per carry was awful. The Patriots defense was very good versus the run. And, Pete Carroll is supposedly bringing in this great run system. He averaged 2.0 yards per carry on 19 carries. That is not good. Now you're going up against the Chargers run D on Monday Night Football, who just locked up the Chiefs run game completely. I'm a little worried if Ashton Genty doesn't fall into the end zone, he's going to have another kind of bad game, but I'm still going to put him at 13. And speaking of another tough matchup, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he looked great. They did say, quote unquote, there's some kind of back neck injury going on with him, so make sure you pay attention to the updates there. But this matchup is against the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos defense just allowed like 20 yards last week to the Titans. This is brutal. This defense is so good. Danny Dimes is going to be in for a nightmare game. JT doesn't get much done in the passing game usually anyways, so I'm a little lower on JT unless he falls into the end zone. He could save his day, but I feel like it's going to be a very, very rough day for JT unless he gets through and pops one, which he could. He could always get to the line and just explode, but it's going to be a rough matchup, man. Number 15, the same thing for Bucky Irving. It is a tough running back matchup week here. So Bucky Irving last week, against the Falcons, right? They showed very much improvement. The 2 picks they took in the first round and traded heavily up for definitely showed up in that game. And Bucky had to save his day with a touchdown. He did not really look that good. And now you're going up against the Texans run D. The Texans run D is like top 3 in the NFL. This defensive line is a nightmare. So Bucky still going to be a start, but I don't think you're going to get that massive explosion Bucky game unless you're kind of like in like the JT situation where he just breaks a big one, right? And the hole opens up and boom, he's gone. Besides that, it's going to be a grunge battle all the way through. The Texans run D is top in the NFL. Very, very tough matchup here for him. The darling number 16 of fantasy football value just popped, right? And it popped twice. It didn't just pop in the game where he exploded for the 70-yard run and had a monster day. It popped right after because they traded Tank Bigsby to the Eagles, which means that they are showing their belief in Travis Etienne. And you're in a Liam Cohen system who dominated with Bucky Irving last year. This is the best Bucky type running back they have. You're going to get an insanely good matchup. It's going to look bad on paper, right? So these are the things you have to look at. So it is going to show, that they're going up against the Bengals. And the Bengals run D looked amazing because they played the Browns. It's not that great of a run D that, you can say Trey Hendrickson and Stewart, but still, it's still going to be trouble. He'll get a lot done in the passing game as well. And ETN has shot up my boards. Number 17, Chuba Hubbard and the Carolina Panthers. This is another good matchup for him. This is going to come down to Bryce Young. After what we saw from Bryce Young, and I've got to apologize there, I was high on Bryce Young. It is a 1-game sample size, but it was a very good matchup for him, and he played terrible. So, depending on how this ball moves for the Panthers, they are on the road, but you got to look at it as Chuba can get it done in the passing game as well. He got a touchdown last week through the air. He can, he's not going to come off the field much for Rico Dowdle. So Chuba's still a solid start for me here. Number 18, AK-41, Alvin Kamara. I dropped him down really low here, and Mac Jones may make it, more of a necessity to bump up Alvin Kamara a couple spots because Brock Purdy looks like long shot, not going to be out there, right, quote unquote. But when you have AK-47 or AK-41, he's always going to be a start for you. It's just a tough matchup versus the 49er D. Look what they did to Clint Kubiak and his amazing run game in Seattle that I heard all about with their amazing offensive line. No, the 49er defense is going to get after the Saints. That's why I'm a little lower on Alvin Kamara here. You saw Kendre Miller sprinkle in a little bit, even Devin Neal. So, Kamara is not going to be getting his full, old AK 26-year-old, 25-year-old workload, but he's still good enough for a start. Number 19, and I'm pushing it up here. I know that Travion Henderson played 35% snaps in week 1. They kind of gave all the rookies a little rookie treatment in week 1. I mean, you saw RJ Harvey play a little bit split. I think Amari Hampton's going to have Najee Harris come back in this game. He'll play a little more split in week 2 here as Najee recovers from the firework injury. But you get the Miami Dolphins. I mean, they just got destroyed on the ground by Jonathan Taylor, by DJ Giddens, by Daniel Jones. This defense is absolutely shot. And if the Patriots want to wake up and be a playoff team, they need to get this superstar rookie involved over Ramondre Stevenson. You saw Ramondre last week look terrible. The Raiders' run D is not that great, man. And you got to get your electric playmaker out there on the field. I don't know what they're doing using him at 35%. This will be my last week ranking him this high if he's at that usage again. I want to see it at 50% this week. Number 20, Amari Hampton. Speaking of the rookie treatment, I'm dropping him down here as well because the Raiders, I just said they don't have a good run D. I don't think they do have a good run D. I think, if Mekhi Becton's back in this game for the right guard for the Chargers they bought in the offseason that was out in week 1, that will help the run game more with all as well their other superstar linemen. But I think you're going to get more Najee. I think it's going to be not like more Najee, but he's going to see definitely more snaps. So you're going to get that timeshare that's alluded to, and who knows who's going to be the goal line back in this game if Najee's back. Or if Najee's like back to, say 35, 40% snaps. And the Raiders did just play well against the Patriots, but it's a different beast going up against the Chargers. And this is a grunge game where I think a lot of rushing attempts are going to happen. I just don't know how it's going to play out with the Najee update if he's going to play more. Number 20, DeAndre Swift and the Chicago Bears. Man, did they blow that. Caleb Williams fell apart in that game. It was, I honestly was laughing, man. I felt bad for him, but I was laughing. The Bears are going up against the Lions. They're on the road. This is your Ben Johnson revenge game. DeAndre Swift's touches were immaculate last week. You didn't see much Manunjai. Roshan Johnson was ruled out. And he didn't get much done on the ground game because you're going up against the Minnesota Vikings run D. It's a very, very tough run D. Now you're going up against the Lions run D. It's going to be another tough game for him here. Do I think, it's kind of a revenge game for DeAndre Swift too because he was a Lion before as well. I'd say he's a low-end RB2 play. He never sees a lot of goal line work either, which is another problem they have. But the Bears got to get to the goal line first. I mean, they had to pass to Romo Dunes the last time they were there. So I like DeAndre Swift as a flex play if you need an RB2, but he's my RB21. RB22, Tony Pollard. This is a tough matchup. They're going up against the Rams here. It is their first home game for Cam Ward out there in Tennessee, in Nashville, but I like Tony Pollard still, kind of like DeAndre Swift's situation as an RB2, low-end RB2 flex play just because Tyjae Spears is on IR, as you see down there in the picture. It's not a great matchup. The Rams run D is very good. They held Nick Chubb to 60 yards in a neutral game script. And they played the Broncos, so it's really hard to judge the Tennessee Titans. That's the number 1 defense to go up against. So, maybe he can break 10 points, get something done in the receiving game here, and possibly fall into the end zone, but I don't love the play. It's just a solid floor play, flex play for me. Number 23, Javonte Williams. And no. Stop the hype train for Javonte Williams. I would have sold high already if I had him on any of my teams, but because I didn't. But here's what we have to look at. He had a monster day with a terrible yards per carry average, right? Now, he fell into the end zone twice on PI calls that took it to the 1-yard line. He got to feast on both of those. I mean, what are the odds that's going to happen again? You're playing against the Giants front, which is very good. But what's scary, and what you have to look at here is how I look at it, is when the Giants played the Commanders in week 1, that defense was out there so much that they got tired at the end and JCM could eat them up because they're on the field all day. Like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt had 20 snaps, very, very low snap share, but at the end of the game, because the Giants can't move the football, their defense is on the goddamn field so much they get tired that the Commanders got to run on them. They were stymieing the run all game long till the end. Like Eckler had nothing, JCM had nothing. So the only way that I think Javonte Williams has a big game, if he does have one, is if the Cowboys get up really big and that Giants front gets tired, because that's one of the best fronts in football the New York Giants have. David Montgomery is at my 24 spot, 25 and 26, guys. We need to talk about this. And I told you guys, stay away from Kenneth Walker this year. Not healthy going in. He's never been healthy in his entire career. Charbonnet looked better. Charbonnet saw more snaps. Charbonnet saw more red zone work. You are getting a matchup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, which the New York Jets just absolutely shredded last week with Breece Hall. But you're at Pittsburgh in this game, and the Jets have a different line. Seattle's offensive line, when I told you guys all year, the offensive line is terrible. And I was getting like people, oh my God, they're going to beat the 49ers, blah, blah, blah. Dude, Sam Darnold had no time to throw. The running backs had no lanes to run in. This offensive line is already terrible to me in my mind. So if there's any running back I want, it's going to be Charbonnet. I mean, I've been saying it all year long. He's my league-winning value. Kenneth Walker is on a contract year. I do think he could be moved before the trade deadline, kind of like Breece Hall if the Jets fall to contention. Things to think about there. But flex play at best for both of them, honestly. Number 27 and number 28. Here we go again. So this is like, what are we doing? Why is J.K. Dobbins? What's going on? And J.K. Dobbins gets the touchdown. They split the yardage. R.J. Harvey looked explosive with a 50-yard run at the end to even save his flex day. Titans defense did show up way more than I thought. I thought the Broncos would control that game a lot more, so I missed on that for sure. But you can tell, the eye test can tell you that R.J. Harvey's better than J.K. Dobbins. I don't know what we're doing, Sean Payton running this, committee. You even saw Beatty out there, I was like, what the going on? So RJ Harvey's time is coming, just like Hampton, just like Henderson. They just got a little rookie treatment in week 1, and we all do get a little too hyped up before the season starts because the rookies, we want to see them ball out. And I even missed on Henderson last week. I had him a lot higher, so I'm dropping him down this week. I missed on Harvey as well. I had him at 18 last week, and I'm dropping him down until they start to get the usage here. And this can be a double all the way across. So Aaron Jones, and I tweeted it out, and I have like this tweet curse, man. I tweeted out, Aaron Jones just looks sluggish, and Jordan Mason looked way, way better. He did. There's no way you could argue that. And then, of course, right when I tweet that out, Aaron Jones catches a receiving touchdown on the sideline going to the right side of the end zone. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm just cursed. So I didn't like Aaron Jones as a start last week because I thought he's going to be washed up. He found the end zone, proved me wrong there for sure. Of course, that's what happens. Now you got J.J. McCarthy coming off a huge win. You're going up against the Falcons, who just locked up Bucky Irving. This is going to be a tough run matchup for both these running backs. And the only reason I have Aaron Jones higher is because he's going to get the receiving work that Jordan Mason does not. But it's going to be a tough matchup for both these running backs this week. Number 31. And we're going to throw him into number 35. And the update for Bill Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt just hit today that he will take over the RB1 job at some time. But are you really going to throw him out there, hyped off a touchdown last week when he played 20 snaps? Of course, he's a rookie, like we talked about. His snaps are going to go up. He's going to be more involved. But, guys, you're going up against the best defense in football, Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers. I am not starting JCM. I'm not starting Eckler. If I am, it's a dart throw flex play. I think Eckler will thrive in this game through the passing game. That is it. That's the only thing I like here. Green Bay's defense is nasty, man. Acquiring Micah Parsons was just insane for the Cowboys to give the Packers Micah Parsons, but that's a different story. Number 32, I told you to bench him last week. I hope you listened. Isaiah Pacheco. There is no way on God's green earth that I am going to start this guy versus the Philadelphia Eagles. If you do, that is on you. I mean, you saw the splits right away. He got one carry, then here came Rashard Smith, then here came Kareem Hunt. That's how it's going to be. They know they have to limit him coming off the major injury. They know that he runs like a freight train. If he sees a lot of touches, he has a very, very re-injury high risk. I stayed away from Pacheco all year. Do not start this man. Be smart. Now, this one is pending the news, and we don't have the news yet. So, obviously, right here, Quinshon Judkins, down below me right here, meeting with the NFL investigation, could have played week 2, could not. If he doesn't play this week, and hear this out, so say Judkins gets his 1 to 2 game suspension or whatever it is, Dylan Sampson, I'm going to put at RB25 ahead of Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. You're playing the Baltimore Ravens in this game, guys. They are going to get mopped out the building. And what I've been saying all year long is the Cleveland Browns are going to be fantasy gold because they are going to gobble up garbage time. And look what happened. Joe Flacco went out and threw for the third most passes in the NFL with 45 attempts. And who did they go to at the end? Dylan Sampson. So Jerome Ford wasn't on my list. I told you do not play Jerome Ford. You're crazy to do that. Dylan Sampson also saw more carries with 12 carries. He saw 8 freaking receptions, guys, for 64 points. That there alone in PPR could be your flex play. You're playing against the Ravens, who they're going to be behind. The game's probably over by halftime. So you got to love Dylan Sampson. If Judkins is ruled out again, I'd put him at RB25. I'd move him up about 8 spots if we get the Judkins news. I just don't have it yet. But I do like Sampson as a major flex play if Judkins isn't out there. RB34, he found the end zone. The snap share was all over the place with Kenneth Gainwell out snapping him. You get Jaylen Warren. You know, if you started him, you got lucky, right? I mean, it wasn't a great game for the Steelers' run game at all. It was a very tough matchup. I'll give them that. You do get the Seattle Seahawks. They're a tough matchup, but you got to look at Seattle's numbers. They were going up against CMC last year. CMC last week. He's a different animal. I don't like Jaylen Warren in this matchup. The Seahawks, I think that defense is going to bounce back, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring grunge game like I thought last week. I don't think it's going to be a shootout like the Jets again. I think that was crazy, but I was definitely wrong there. Number 36, said to bench him. I almost didn't even put him on my rankings. Scatabo, bench him too. The Giants' offensive line is terrible. Russell Wilson looks awful. I mean, there's not much to say. They're going up against the Cowboys. The Cowboys just played very, very well against the number 1 or 2 offensive line in the Eagles and Saquon Barkley. They look great against the run. I mean, if you can contain Saquon under 15 points, that's a plus, right? So Tyrone Tracy, man, the Giants, I just feel so bad for him. So I didn't draft any of them, though. So, I mean, I hope you listen there. Thank you guys for rocking with me today. That is the end of the episode. That is my running back rankings, top 36, tiered all the way from 1 to 6, guys. My quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end videos, hoping to get out today. If not, they'll be out tomorrow with my smash starts and sleepers. So you have everything before the Thursday kickoff. That is my goal this year. Remember, guys, if you have any comments, questions, anything, you can drop them down below. I try to answer every single one of them. It is becoming hectically mayhem between Twitter, YouTube, the Discord, everything, but I will try to get to all of them, guys. And before you head out, make sure you tap that thumb up, hit that subscription. I'll be live all week after Thursday, covering everything, taking your guys' questions, everything like that as well. And the Discord will be pinned in the comments and in the description if you guys want to hop in there. And as always, if you want to draft with us, do some DFS and pickups and stuff like that, sign up on drafters.com and use promo code SLEAZE. Shout out to the sponsor there. And that's it for me this episode, man. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Sleaze Bomb out.